everyone, it's me, Cici, and I get a lot of scratches in my belongings. Luckily, getting them back to good as new is a very easy process that takes pretty much just an afternoon. And today, I am going to help you figure out what you need to do in order to fix your wooden belongings. The first section is just for small scratches, so let's say if you kick a piece of furniture or like accidentally draw your keys across a piece of furniture. But the second part is for if the entire surface is scratched up. I have moved into a couple of places and found some hidden gems that have had some pretty scratched up surfaces, and I've needed a lot of help. But to start, let's go with the smaller scratches. Alright, so mind the filter noise in the background. That is for my turtle. He has to have it going. We're on the floor right now because my beautiful, beautiful armoire that I got from Savers for $13 is a little bit dinged up in a couple of places. We can see mostly down on the floor there's a lot of like scratches and stuff, probably just from people kicking it over the years. So this is a really good example of how we're gonna fix things up when it's just one scratch, like a concentrated area. It isn't like the whole thing is scratched up. And the first step always is to give it a nice good wipe down, clean it off, make sure the surface is free from any debris or anything that could be interpreted as scratches. And then once that's done, we're going to go ahead and take these little kits. This is one that I yoinked from my workplace. Don't tell anyone, but there's really no wood scratches that need to be repaired there. And then this one was a moving in gift from my older sister, and I think I'm actually gonna crack this one open so that we can get a better color match for the stain. And then what I like to do personally is after we go in with the stain, I like to go in with the crayons just to add in a little bit more of that wood texture so it looks more natural. I'm gonna go ahead and test this somewhere that's a little less visible. Maybe right over here. Oh, that's a pretty good match. Maybe a little lighter? Oh wait, no, the oak is perfect. All right, oak it is. Okay, so I just finished up that lower corner right there, and I actually did end up mostly using the oak marker, and I didn't end up using the crayons a whole lot. And I understand that this definitely is not a perfect fix, but I will say it looks so much better than before. I was actually a little bit worried that I didn't do that good of a job, but then I looked at the before and after, and I was like, oh no, I did a good job. So that's how you fix small scratches, but if you have a surface that's like really scratched, you're gonna have to do a couple of extra steps. Welcome to my kitchen. So for wooden surfaces with more scratches, I'm going to use this cutting board as an example. Now, in all honesty, if you ask a professional chef about the quality of this cutting board, they'll say it's not that great because the wood grain is going like this instead of like this. But if you take a look at it, it has obviously had a lot of knives to it over its time, so it is very dinged up on both sides. And I just wanted to give it a little bit of love and like restore it a little bit, you know? Problem is I don't actually know what kind of varnish they used on it, but it feels like a little bit more of like a smooth butcher block sort of a deal, which makes sense. You don't really want varnish in your food. So I am going to be using my Nifty Thrifty butcher block conditioner. I have used this on a bunch of projects, even non-culinary ones, but if you wanted, you could probably just use like a different butcher block oil or a beeswax. However, we are going to wait to do that until we sand this bad boy down. I really should be doing this outside, but please, nobody judge me. And somehow I also only have 2 grits of sandpaper in my collection again. Please don't judge me. So we're gonna start with the thickest grit, which is this one right here, just so that we can mow through all of the scratches a little bit faster. And then to give it a nice smooth finish, which it really doesn't need because it's a cutting board and it's gonna get chopped up anyways, we are going to go in with 400 grit sandpaper to give it a nice smooth texture. So now it is a few days later, and as I was recording the intro, I put another coat of beeswax onto this lovely guy. So I decided to just sand one side, and even then I did not get all of the scratches out, and leave the other side as a comparison. I added the beeswax butcher block conditioner to both sides, and this is how they both turned out. And even though I didn't do a super thorough job with the side that I did sand, again, just because the sandpaper was clogging up and I didn't have the logistics to do it, you can still tell that it is a vast improvement from the other side. And had I continued to sand until there were no scratches left, it would have been even better. My father once told me that any project that you make is only as good as how well you sand it, and I will admit that this is not my best project. I still think it looks a lot better than before, and at the very least, the 2 coats of Butcher Block conditioner will keep this bad boy protected for years to come. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, please make sure to literally like it down below. Comment any projects that you are planning on fixing up, and subscribe to see more of my lovely face. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!